Yeah, this is going fine. Okay, let's start. Let's start that. Let's start discussing about this one. What is it? The last session we were talking about what shall we say? This uh, scroll automation. If you remember, we are talking about scroll automation. This is the one. There are a few more things we need to discuss along with the scroll automation. This is a simple example we had discussed in the last session, right? So how to implement the scroll and how to move to the footer, all that we had discussed in the last session. Okay. So now let us see a few more examples. Like, for example, you see here, when you this automation, you know about all this, right? So this is part coming from Amazon website, and we are implementing, we are checking about the footer thing, that language settings in the footer. That is the example we are discussing in the last session. Right. So let us quickly run this and have a quick recap on what we did in the last session. This is the automation we did. We tried to implement a scroll automation. It, we tried to move to the footer. You can see now it has moved to the footer. And we are trying to check for this language settings at the bottom. You can see, I think this got quit. What I'll do is for some time, I'll just stop this quick, just for having a clear idea. So what do we do right now? So I'm trying to run the automation again, and we have applied scroll automation, and for that one too, we are doing it to move to scroll to the footer. Now we are at the footer and we see this language settings. Yes, we are able to see this because it has moved from beginning of the web page to the, top of the web page to the foot bottom of the web page, which is nothing but footer. Now we want to come to the footer, scroll to the footer and click on this. That's what the activity we want to do right now on this automation. Okay, let's do it now. See, for that what we are doing here, you can see here, friends. So one thing is, if you want to do that, if you want to move to that particular area of your web page, say for example, this footer area of your web page, then we have to apply this. What is this? From the actions class, we have, what is it? This one, friends. This actions dot element to whichever element you want to scroll. Now we are trying to scroll to that which one? This language footer settings. Okay, we are trying to scroll to the language settings available in the footer. That's what we are doing here. Got it, friends? So when you say access dot scroll to elements, it will scroll to that particular area of that web page. Here we are trying to scroll to footer, which is nothing but language footer. Right. So that we are doing now. We are trying to move to that particular place. Already, I think we are doing it. So we don't need this again, if I'm not wrong. This is not needed. We can, what we can do, I believe we can skip this. Right. Next one after that. Then we are also positioning it in a proper this thing in the frame. So here for that, if you want to position your element in that particular this thing, in that scrolling thing, if you want to position that scrolling properly, then we can apply this method scroll by amount, and then we can position this x and y axis, pixel of y x axis and pixel of y axis. So this is another important method. Apart from applying scroll to element, this will default scroll, apply scrolling to that particular web element which we are passing here. That is one thing. Second thing, even though if you scroll, suppose you see right click, run Java application. See here, I believe this is not closed yet. Let's close this. So this is new automation. We have started automation. And now scrolling will be automatically applied. You can see, but here little we need to scroll a bit when you apply this automation. And if you want to position this language settings properly with the automation, then what is that we can do? We can also specify. We can specify by how much amount you want to scroll. This positions your scrolling in a better this thing, right? So if you want to better that scrolling, then we can also apply this method, scroll by amount method. Okay, just simply you have to pass both x and y axis dimensions here for that scrolling. That is the idea, friends. Now, what shall we do now? Now after this, we have to apply another important move to that element. So we have applied this scroll element, which will by default scroll to that particular web element, which is language footer, which is nothing but that language settings. Second thing, after that, we are adjusting the that scroll by how much amount of that scrolling should be done, the positions x and y axis. Third thing, we are asking to move to that particular element, near to that element. And fourth thing, we are asking again to click on that element. Once you scroll to that element near to that location, that is one thing. Second thing, we are adjusting the positions of x and y axis. Third thing, we are moving to that near to that element. And then fourth thing, we are applying click on that. Click on that particular web element, that is a language footer. Language footer, we have discussed, we know that, right? So when we do this, what happens now? This scrolling, we have this image on, what shall we say? Image on nothing. Just open this, and this is the footer, right? We have to now our automation should take us to this footer and then click on this language settings, and it should show us this language settings available here. Maybe you can choose whatever you want. That is a different thing. So this is a simple automation we want to do for now. So to do all these steps one by one. So step one, what is step one? Step one is scrolling to the bottom of this web page, which is footer, scrolling to the footer. Second one is not adjusting the x and y axis of this particular web element. Third one, taking the mouse to this particular element, moving mouse to this element. Fourth thing, clicking on this web element. So these are the four different steps we need to follow in this simple automation of scrolling. So what we are doing now, you can see here. Just a minute, I'm checking if this recording is happening. Yes, it's happening. So let's run it and see if it is going to work for us or not. So we just started automation, and the automation started. Of course, sometimes while doing this, because this is Amazon website, due to security reasons, it may pop up captcha. So no, we don't need to worry, close this. And then again, what you do, stop this automation and then rerun this automation to overcome that issue. So do the automation. Now you can see website got open. It will move the web page to the footer. And then what is it? It will adjust the settings. And you can see that now. And then click on that language settings, right? So that is the idea, friends. This is how a simple scroll automation can be implemented here with these steps. I hope this is clear for all of you, right? So that's an idea, friends. So what clarity can I get an yes from you in the chat box? Can you please share your this thing? Thank you, Sunita. Right, so that is should be fine then. So this is the idea about a simple scroll automation. Next one. So the steps are clear, right? There is nothing difficult here. We don't have any problem in this. The steps are simple, right? So now let's just quickly talk about two more important keyboard actions, right? So let's remove this comment. I just thought to quickly discuss this keyboard actions. So what we do is This actions has to be pushed down. That's why the error is. There is a slight formatting issue that I'm fixing. No problem. That won't be a big issue. We'll fix this errors. So I believe we have almost removed all the errors in the code now. So this action thing we had discussed earlier, even we had discussed about different types of action. We have mouse actions, keyboard actions. Also, we have drag and drop. And then we had seen many automations actually. So, and among them, this keyboard actions, I just want to quickly talk about key up and key down actions here before we jump to the iframe topic. What are these keyboard actions here? So generally you can see this is a very simple scenario. This is nothing difficult, but still I want to just show you this because I thought to discuss this quickly. So here what we are doing one more automation on top of this scroll automation. This doesn't have anything to do with this our scroll automation. We are done with scroll automation. Now we are jumping to the another next topic about this keyboard automation. What we are doing is simple. We are trying to go to the search box. See, this is the ID. This is the problem statement, right? This is our Amazon website. So the problem statement here is this is the search box. In the search box, if you want to search any element, we have to press enter. That is a keyboard action. So key down means that is one action. Once that activity is done, key up is one more action. There are two actions we are implementing here. Let me just write here. So the idea is we are implementing keyboard actions. So among this, we are doing two actions here, key up and key down. Excuse me, friends. So these are the two actions. Another one is key down. And we have one more action, send keys. This already we are doing, given we are covering this as well. Right, these are the three different keyboard actions which we have in this Selenium automation. And we have already discussed about send keys thing. This is discussed number of times. We are familiar with that. This is not new for us. But this key up and key down is something we didn't discuss. Of course, we had discussed about the data thing on that some time back. But this is a quick and simple automation I would like to quickly discuss with you so that we cover a few more actions related to the this kind automation thing. Now here, what we are doing, this is the one problem statement is simple. So if you want to type anything, you should press that key should be down. That is one action. And at the end, that key should be on if you want to do search on this search box. So we have to perform two different actions on one is key down and key up. Right? So that's what we are doing here. So this thing is simple for us because this is discussed and we're trying to locate this search box, this Amazon website search box number of times. But by now we are familiar to locate how to locate any different web element. So that is not new for us. So the point is simple. Here we are trying to locate this search box and then we are trying to pass some text for searching. That is fine. Item for searching or a value for searching. That is another step. And another one is at the same time we are trying to do two things. One is we want to search for that from there itself. See, one is applying on the sorry. You can see here one is entering something into the search box and clicking on this one in this on this search button, right? So that is one thing, one option. But we want to do it in a dynamic way through your keyboard actions. So how do you do that? Simply this we can apply. So we can apply. So if you want to press enter, you have to do two things. Once you enter your pass your value, one, you have to do two things. You have to key down and then key up. See, right? Let me just show you here. See, you are just saying something like mouse. If not mouse, you can type anything of your choice. Now, if I want to go and do such, then what is that I should do? I should press enter. If I should press enter, two things should happen. One, we should press the key. We should press down the key. That is key down. And then once that is done, again you have to press up. You cannot keep it there like like now I pressed enter. If I don't release, it won't do such. See, it's not showing such. Now I released it. Now the such happening now. So two actions has to be done if you want to do some searching here. That without clicking on this button, if you want to do a simple search from here, enter here, you have to apply two actions, key down and key up. Together we have to do this action. Then this it will show us all the products related to the mouse. I hope this problem statement is clear. So if you want to do this search operation without clicking on this button, then we can take the help of this keyboard actions, key down. So what is that? It is a simple thing. In that actions class, we have key down method. In that we have to apply enter. Enter it says you are just clicking on the enter. After that, again, what you are saying dot keys up. Once you enter there, press enter. Again, you have to up that enter. Keys up means release that enter. Then which one we should release that enter button. Same thing you are specifying here. And will not perform, without this automation don't work, right? So this is the quick idea. The whole statement is nothing but just you are pressing enter and releasing. Is this what this is doing? And to press enter, you apply key down action, and to that you are passing what action to be performed on this keyboard. So just to press on enter, you are saying. So when you are saying to press enter button, and then similarly you are asking here key up action to perform key up action on which button you need on again keys dot enter button. So simultaneously this whole statement is talking about an action here, an automation action. What is it? Just enter and release this enter button, that enter key in the keyboard. So this is the quick idea. I hope this is clear. You understood problem statement before we run the automation. Is this clear now? Because understanding this problem statement is more important. Now code is nothing here. It's just simple. It's just a matter of single statement here. That's all. This statement talks about this automation. It just implements simple automation, right? So these are the three steps which we are quickly implementing to do a search in a different way. So that's it, friends. Somebody is typing if I am missing anything. Santoshi, any question? So yes, we apply both because see here, maybe you can also try. Suppose you type something books. So you can also try it manually, and you press enter and don't release. If you just press enter and don't release, it's not a full operation. You can see here. So what you have to do? You have to apply both enter and up here. So in that way, it is a complete keyboard action you are doing on a particular key. That's what's happening here. Is that clear, Santoshi? So that's it. I believe even let's remove this one. Let's do one thing. Even if you don't use key up also, this should work if I'm not wrong. Let's run this again. So what we'll do one thing, we'll run one thing. Two scenarios we will apply without taking key up, and by applying key up. Let us cover both scenarios. So that gives you some clear picture. So is it really necessary to apply this key up, or is it okay to have both, or can we have only this and still we can achieve our expected automation? We will talk about, we'll cover all these three use cases. Is that fine, Santoshi? Is that fine? Right. So
Yeah,
what
sure.
we do? Let's do that. We will cover all those three out. Now we are scenario one. So this is use case one. What is that we are doing in use case one? We are covering both. So in this use case one, so we are using both key down and key up action, but this is a good to have both because we are trying to implement this both actions of keyboard and key on this enter key in the keyboard. Right. Let's run this automation and then run this automation. Now we move to Amazon. That's fine. And then we are and once this is open, we are passing here from the code that mouse, the text mouse. Of course, before that, it try to perform some footer operation that we can disable it. That is done now. Now it come to the mouse here. Now you can see that more key up and key down is done, and then you can see all the that search for mouse is happening here. It's showing all the products related to the mouse. So this is one scenario. We try to do the automation by passing both actions on keyboard and on a key in a keyboard, that key down and key up. That is fine. Another one. So what is that scenario two? So what we for time being, we can avoid this. We can just comment this. What is this is not needed now. What is footer automation or this crawl automation? This we can comment for a few minutes as we are already done with this. I'm commenting this footer automation. Right, fine. Now case two. Let us apply case two. What is our case two? We can comment this because we already tested this. So what we do, use case one is done. Let's cover use case two, where we are not relying on key up, but just using only enter. Even this should work. When you press enter automatically, when that key is down, it will do the search. But even releasing key is also a kind of action we can add to this. That is also a good way of doing it. But still, let us do another use because testing means that's what we can try it in multiple ways. So what do we do? Remove this. Let's see if this alone is okay for us to do the search for a product in this Amazon website. So we are just entering this key. I think this should be alone sufficient, but let's run it and see. Okay, we started the automation. We are in Amazon website. So unfortunately, we ran into captcha. What we do now? So we run this automation again. That is the we have now. Now we give automation. So you can see now website launched, and then right, it will pass some text to this. Yes, mouse is passed. And we will press enter. As expected, this is also working without key action. Because entry alone is enough. But why again key up then? That is also a subsequent action which we can apply along with that key down. So that is a good practice even. I hope this is clear, right? Even in the keyboard, the actual manual thing, what do? You press enter and you release it, right? That both things we have tried to validate in the first scenario. So it worked fine. But again, the next question is it really necessary to do this subsequent actions one after the another? Then for to test that again, because we are testing, we have to do testing, let's say. So we did one more use case for that, removing this key. Still that is working. We are getting the expected result even without applying this, right? That is one more use case. Maybe if you ask me, so if you ask me a question, which one should I follow? It's up to you, right? If you want to add both of these actions, please add it. Otherwise, choose this one in this particular automation. Again, this is just I'm talking about this specific automation. But in most of the cases, when you say keys.enter, it will automatically do the expected automation. So and get the expected results on that particular product. Okay. So this is the idea, friends, about keyboard actions. Just to make you aware of these actions, I took this simple example. I believe you should be clear with this All this automation. Here we covered almost all the keyboard actions. Here we covered key down action, we covered key up action, we covered send keys action. See, we almost covered all the keyboard actions. This is the idea about this actions thing and about scroll automation, all these things, friends. Are we good till this? Can you please confirm in the chat box? Yeah, Shankar, definitely there will be a way for that if you want to hold a key. I didn't try that honestly, but maybe we'll check and I'll check and let you know. Yeah, do we have any method to hold a key? Should be. So because automation have different approaches. For holding key might be there might be a possibility, but I'm not sure on this. I'll check and let you know. But before this, all these things are clear, right? Right. Next, what do you do right now? Let us go to the next topic, which is nothing but this is another very important topic in automation, that is frames. So again, people ask questions in interviews on this as well. So what is this frame and how do you do this frame automation? So in this Selenium automation, so this is one of the very important and uh, you know famous automation. So what is that automation here? That is frame automation. So what is this iframes here? How do you handle this iframes using the Selenium? It's simple. First of all, understand what is an iframe. So you open a website here. Any website. I am opening. Somebody is asking question. Let me just. Yep. So let's open our website itself. So here I'm taking non-tech. You can see here. See, first thing is when you want to talk about frames, is automating this frames and frames. First, we should have a clear idea about this. What is this frame or a frame here? If you see here, if you want to embed something into your this thing web page, this is your web page. So of our noun tag, and you can see these are all frames. We try to add just some sample video this thing into our website here. And here, if you look at this one, you can see right all these video links here, which are embedded into this page are frames, right? So first thing when we are dealing with the frames is this first thing we should observe is we should get to that web page and check for one particular tag if frames exist in that web page or not. And how do you do that? Simply right click on that web page and say inspect. And you say that, then search with a tag. What is that tag? IFrame. When you search with the tag IFrame, and you can see here, if you are finding any matches, see here we have 12 matches. Now, need not to be all these matches should be a IFrame tag because something here in the middle is not a tag. It is something in text in the middle of something. So, but tags here, maybe if you want to be more specific, then you have to say like this // iframe. Then that gives you a clear tag details, iframe tag, because you see, we are saying slash and this is a simple text path pattern saying that all the tags, it starts with iframe. We know this, we have discussed this a number of times while discussing how to create locating strategy for XPath. We have 5 frames now. You can see because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many videos we have embedded into the web page? 5 videos. So if we embed 5 videos here, 5 frames are automatically created internally by this WordPress website. So that's why if you see now, if you click on this, the first video got selected, right? Suppose if you click on one more, it will select the second video. Suppose if you click on one more, it will select the third video. If you click on one more, it will select fourth video and fifth video accordingly. Right? So, but here, what is an iframe means? See, in this page, this is inserted as a separate window. You see, a small sub window. Are you able to understand this? Suppose If you think this whole web page as one container, this is a small container in that web page. Let me just show you within a page so you understand better in Paint. You can see here, friends. So this is your frame, right? This is a container. This is your this is your web page. This is a big container. In this web page, again, your frames are like this. See, your frames are like this. Maybe you put it in vertical order, horizontal order, or means nothing to worry. So these are again small containers, and these small containers here. So this is assume that this is your web page. So web page of any website. It need not to be no tech. It can be anything. And these are all what again? These are all containers. So again, internal containers, which are nothing but your, with my friends, your iframes. So these frames are nothing but which are nothing but small containers which are embedded into your web page. Embedded means inserted into your web page. That is a frame. And the purpose of these frames are to add some, to include some ads, or to include some special content into these small containers, which will be placed at some part of your web page without disturbing the page, actual web page or web content. So that's how iframes are a way of, efficiently designing your web page to add some special content. These are small containers which are inserted into your web page. And that is what we call iframe in simple terms. I hope this is clear. So that is the idea now. Now that's what we are here. That is the quick clarity about this iframe. What is an iframe? An iframe is an inline frame, which is its internal container. It is a division of the page that can be loaded separately from the rest of the page. Correct, right? So here in this website, if you see, this is a simple way of, we can easily simply understand this. In this website, this is actually a completely different placeholder thing just to handle this video details, right? To talk about our videos. It need not to be Selenium. It can be video links here. Okay. But for now, it's this is few examples of this Selenium videos. We got it right. So that's what this is here. This allows us to show, this is already discussed. You to show different content in a particular region without needing to load the entire page. So this is also one more advantage. So in this scenario, when you have frames, so the loading of this frames happen into that specific containers without affecting the whole page. This is also one more advantage with the frames here, friends. I hope this is clear for all of you. So that's the idea. Is that clear? Got clarity about the frame thing here, right? Next one. So what do we do then? Then next thing is, how do you deal? How do you locate? How do you find these frames? Just now we did some research, or we did some analysis. What is it? We can search for frames in your website by using this what is this iframe tag here. You can simply speak. See, if you want to know which are all your, if you want to see, first thing is identifying if frames exist in your web page or not. To do that, simply just check for iframes like this. Just use this pattern to search for iframes. It will show you a list of iframes that are present in this web page, right? So that's what happens here. So that's what this statement is talking. We have already dealt with that scenario. Next one, what else? What else we have here? Suppose if you want to know, locate all different frames that are there in a web page. So again, we can apply this yesterday. I mean, on Friday, we had discussed this method. Find elements. This will list out all that particular web elements. It need not to be frame itself. Now we are applying this for frame. This can be applied for any kind of web element. To find all related web elements, we apply this find elements. So if to this method, if we just pass this iframe, it will list out all that frames that are present in that website and returns that a list of that frames in a list object here. So that's why we are declaring this reference of list here and assigning that object to this reference variable here. So that is this is discussed number of times. Maybe we will see that this example again one more time. This is the quick idea. So that is fine. The purpose of this particular statement is if you want to list out all the iframes that are there in a web page, then this particular Java, this Java statement helps us to do that. So we add this as a part of Selenium automation, part of our Selenium automation, right? That is the point. Now, this is okay. Let's skip this. Let's hold on this for a while. Let's jump to the few more important things in on this game scenario. Now here, you can see here, friends, what are all important things we need to understand? Just now today, we had discussed about scroll. If you want to play with scrolling or deal with scrolling, there are certain methods that are present in the actions class. One is something like applying scroll to element. This is one method, right? If you want to apply any automation or scroll automation, so first thing we should do is just scroll to element, then scroll by amount, move to element, and then click. These are different things that are there to implement the scroll automation. Similarly, we have methods to implement this frame automation. So you can see switch to frame. That is one kind of automation because switching frame is another sub container, right? So from your parent container, that web page, if you want to switch to a frame, we can do it in multiple ways. You can see here there are four different ways if you want to switch from your parent container to the this sub container. So you can see in the this one in this diagram, this web page is the outer one. This is the this web page itself in the parent container. And these are all child containers or sub containers, you can see, right? So these are all sub containers, or you can say base container and sub containers, or parent and child containers, right? So now the point is simple. If you want to switch between this parent container and this sub containers, then what is that? How do you do? For that, these methods are very useful. What is that? Switch to, as name says, simply speaking, switch to means switch to from parent to child or child to parent, whichever the way you can play with it in both ways. Okay. And then there are multiple frames. Suppose if you look at this website, so there are number of assume that we have five different frames. You can see we have five matches here, probably. Now this frames have we can identify these frames in different ways. So what is that? Let me just give you a clarity. Otherwise, so when you are talking about frames, I hope the intro is clear, right, friends? This should be clear for you, like what is frame and how it look like, how to identify it. So when we talk about frames, the first thing when you are dealing with frames is, friends, identifying is recognizing. How do you recognize? So we know very well by just simply using a simple this search one iframe. You can use the second thing here when you look at the website. How do you locate these frames? How do you recognize them? We can do that in two ways. Suppose already we know recognizing is done through this tag. That is fine. Second thing, we can see there are five different frames here or sub containers here. Now, how to switch between this this main page and this sub containers? So that can be done in two ways. I mean four ways. And before that, you need to understand a few more things here. One, you try to search for frame and you are seeing we have five matches, means we have five frames. Now, each of this frame has an index. There are two things here. When you search for a frame, if you are having matches for frame, suppose you found matches for a frame, okay, then these all these frames. So there are two ways for this. All these frames, all frames. I'm just giving you a deeper idea about this. Have indexing. starting with not starting from 0. So in our website, we have 5 frames, and these 5 frames have an index. So this has 0, this has 1, this has 2, this has 3, this has 4, something like this. So we can recognize this sub containers through index. And when you have frames in a web page, all frames are provided with the indexing. And the first frame starting with index 0 and the last frame with that size minus n minus 1. So this is something we need to understand here. So what is that? When you find matches for a frame, or even if you don't find, let's about that, ignore about the matching thing. So what is the point here? Point is simple. When you are working with frames, and if you have frames inside that web page, so what is the point? All frames have, so what is it? Have indexing starting from 0 and ends with what? Ends with the size minus 1 or n minus 1. Right. This is what we need to keep in mind. This is one thing. Second thing, the other way is again, I mean, finding those frames. One is with index. So that is one thing. Second thing, another with the some ID. Again, we can find frames with the ID or name or some different other attributes, we can say, or some attributes in that particular tag. So this is another way of getting a frame. In this way, there are, I don't say just 2 ways, because we can recognize frames in multiple ways. So one way is through the index of those frames, but this is not always easy for us, because suppose if you have just in this website, I just have 5 frames. So my job is easy. I can easily recognize which is having which frame has what index. That is clear for me. But suppose if you have some hundreds of frames, or at least some more than some 20-30 frames, it's not easy to recognize the index. In that case, either we can choose ID or name of that index, I mean name of that frame. So this is another way of recognizing the frame. Now the point is, so is this clear, friends, before I switch to the next topic? Because understanding these things is much important than automation. Automation is nothing, just a matter of some 3 or 4 lines of this Java code. But understanding these things is important, friends, so that automatically we can do the automation. Thank you. Thank you very much. So this is the idea about frame concept. Now let us jump to this discussion. Now you can see you understand this thing very easily now. So now we can switch between these frames between your web page. This is your web page, the whole web page, and these are all sub containers in the web page. If you want to switch between your web page and to the sub container and vice versa, then these are the methods we have. One is switch to dot frame, and then we are passing here into frame number, means this takes index to do that switch. What is it? That switch to dot frame, if it is saying some integer parameter here, means it uses index of that frame to switch. So switching with index is one scenario. So one is how do you do switching between your web page, your parent page, and then your this child page iframe. Means one is switching using index. This is one scenario. Second scenario is you can see here switch to dot frame. This is same. See, you can see for the first 3 methods that switch to dot frame, that itself is clear. You are switching to a frame. That is the meaning of that. There is no difficulty in this at all. So this is a simple, straightforward English here. So switch to dot frame. So we are doing switch. OK, fine. And we have 3 different methods for that. OK, fine. But the difference is here simple. In the first case, we are doing switch through using what? Using index. That is scenario 1. Scenario 2, we are doing switching using frame name. Frame name in sense either ID Sometimes frames have ID, or sometimes frame have name, or sometimes some other attribute of the tag. I hope this should be fine, friends. Right. And third thing, this is very familiar. See, recognizing with web element is something we did lots of times. So passing your web element as is to that frame. I hope this is clear. Passing web element. So that pattern is there, right? Recognizing that frame thing and passing as a web element is one more scenario. I hope this is clear, friends. So passing that X some tag, some locating strategy. Maybe let's apply this locating strategy that can be that web element can be a locating strategy by XPath or by ID, by name or anything else. So that can be anything which we are familiar by now. Hope this is clear. So these are the three different important switches we have, either by using index, the first one, or by using some ID or name, second one, and by using this web element here. And the last one is by default again if from that sub container or from the frame or from the child container. If you want to move back to your parent, then switch to default content. Default content is what, friends? Default content is nothing but parent container. So which is that parent container? Here, these are all child containers, all these iframes, 5 iframes. And this web page itself is what is your parent container. Even web page is also a container here, right? So that's the idea of it. So if you want to switch back to your parent, so then we have this default content. I hope this is clear to all of you, friends. This is a clear idea about what, friends, about frames. Clear now? Now again, understanding all these methods one by one. So if you this is simple, we don't have a big problem to understand this. But till this, are you clear without any confusion? Can you please confirm me, friends, in the chat box? Because having this clarity is important. Automation, nothing, friends. Always remember when you are doing automation, getting clear picture about your problem statement or use case is important. Doing automation or writing code is not difficult. Understanding that problem is the very important this thing. Hope this is clear till this. So what we do is we'll talk about automation in tomorrow's class because we are almost there with time. So I'm going to jump to the some other this thing, friends. Hope you are clear on this, right? We'll see tomorrow an automation for already we have samples for this. We have already automation code created for this we have. So you can see here, I just prepared few use cases here to test on this. Okay, you can see one is on Twitter thing. Another is on our on this non-tech website itself. So one more is there, iframe demo. You can see here on non-tech itself. Maybe I'll add few more deeper. I mean, more use cases on this, like how to play with all these different methods that are there in this PPT. So tomorrow we'll complete this and jump to a few more. Maybe if this is done quickly, we will jump to that upload. You know, right? Uh, and right, friends. And maybe by this weekend we can close this our Selenium sessions. Of course, there is no ending for this, so that's what I would like to tell you. But we will start again a fresh of automation from Feb first week. That is an FYI for all of you. You right. I'm stopping recording. Maybe if you have any questions.